612. Talking about this because there are some stats out about our recycling behaviours. And 1 in 5 of us find recycling generally confusing. So what are your habits like? Pip Kiernan is from Clean Up Australia. Morning to you, Pip.
Morning, Craig.
Now, yellow top bins. I think most of us want to recycle. So we go, oh, yeah, I'll just throw that in the yellow top bin. That'll be fine. But sometimes we're not necessarily doing the right thing, are we?
That's right. And it's interesting, this report's come out today from Cleanaway, which looks at the recycling behaviours across the country. And most of us, like 93% of Australians, agree recycling is important, but we are making quite a few mistakes. And we also are not convinced that it is actually going to go and be recycled. But the reality is that if we get it right and put the right things in the recycling bin, they do get recycled, and they can, that's really good for reuse of those materials and being more sustainable.
So, Pip, the common do's and don'ts. What should we do that we're not doing or don't do that we are doing?
The biggest don't that came out in the report very strongly today is no batteries in the curbside bin. In your general waste or in your recycling bin, they don't belong there, and they're causing a lot of problems. Once they end up in the truck or at the waste facility, they can cause fires.
Wow.
And they're happening at an alarmingly increasing rate across Australia. So it's about 3 a day across the whole waste industry. And for Cleanaway, it's 1 fire a week. So that's putting people at risk. And also, it is wasting those resources because batteries are very recyclable. Almost everything in the battery can be recycled. So they don't belong in landfill. But we're very confused about it. 45% of Australians don't know where to dispose of batteries.
So where should we take them, Pip?
Okay, it's actually quite easy. There's so many places across, where we do our shopping, and all the places that we frequent will take batteries. So, for example, most major supermarkets take them, Bunnings, Big W, and also most councils have a drop-off recycling facility where you can take them. Might not be very convenient for just one battery, but if you've got a few, you can save them up and take them there. But we just need to get in that habit of not putting them in the bin because it's dangerous and it's a waste of resource.
Now, one problem, and we've been talking about COVID this morning, but all those face masks, and that came up in the report as well, didn't it?
It did, and we're confused about that. We don't know where to put those. So face masks, chemicals and paint are items that we get really confused about. And they're, unfortunately, the face mask doesn't go in the recycling bin. That has to go in the general waste bin.
I've got another one to throw at you here, Pip. It comes from Kat of Brisbane, who asks, what about aerosol cans? Can they be recycled in the yellow top bin, or is it the general waste bin for those?
Well, you need to check with your local council because some facilities will take them and recycle them and others won't. And you can also look on the back of the product. It will usually give you guidance with the recycling label there about whether it can go.
And is this part of the issue that council to council, the rules slightly differ, and that's why we get so confused?
Absolutely. It does differ depending on where you live, so it can be confusing. But there's a few simple things that, are universal. So paper and cardboard, for instance, they need to be flat and dry, and separate your metals from your glass. So take your metal lid off your glass jar, empty your containers of food and liquids because they don't belong in the recycling bin, and no textiles in the recycling bin. So, things that you think, oh, that needs a second life, I want that recycled, it doesn't belong in the curbside bin. You need to find another way of giving it a second home.
Okay, so we've got a yellow top, a red top, a green we need another top bin, another colour.
Oh, do we?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, that happens in other countries.
Yeah.
Like, we're behind the 8 ball in that regard, Pip, aren't we? Some countries have, in Japan, I think there's a few extra bins that they add to the list.
Yeah, that's right. Well, at Clean Up Australia, we're big advocates of reuse. So rather than putting it in a bin at all, we love reuse and repair and giving those items a longer life so they don't have to go into the bin.
Good idea.
Good of you to join us. Thanks so much, Pip Kiernan, the chair of Clean Up Australia.